Good morning. Today is the 1st of May 2025, a new month, and I'm going to go through some levels today. But before we start, important day today for news: 2:30 FOMC Fed press conference, so that will definitely move the market. And we've got, or should I say, the Fed rate interest rate decision, and we've got some news, high important news coming in at PMI and jobs opening at 10 AM. So 10 AM and 2 o'clock and 2:30 today are the times to keep an eye out. Okay, so let's look at some levels. On my screen we're looking at SPY, so let's go over to ES. So this is the ES futures 1 hour time frame, and the levels are not particularly great today. One of the levels from yesterday, this level we was watching yesterday, 50.37. Let's just put my pen in. My pen's not working. Let me just reset that. So 50.37. Let's get rid of Epic Pen. 1 second. Sorry about this. Let's reload. So we've got this 50.37 level we were watching yesterday, and look at that, it came straight in and bounced perfectly off of it. That's what I was hoping it would have done yesterday. We had a big move yesterday as well, so we could see a bit of a rebound today, a dead cat bounce. So one to keep an eye on. So what I'm watching for today, so this level probably, now it's already gone in the pre-market, I may look for a break and retest short, with a potential target of 50.20, 50.10 and 5,000. They're the levels. We've got a level at 50.10, that's the best area I can find for a bounce, and we've got multiple touches of this level, bottoms of candles, tops of candles, and it's a number we recognise. We go back a while. You can see we've also got multiple touches of candles going back to early February as well. So 50.10 is an area to watch for a bounce. So that's my first level, 50.10. And obviously we got this weekly level. This is a weekly area of confidence, about 508. So that's a big area to watch if we get down there. Pre-market high today, I quite like a break and retest at 50.65. So if we can kind of break up, oh, that's a bit big. So we break up, pull it back down into that 50.65 area, and then long. Then we've got a few targets. If we are long, we've got 50.82 and 50.100 for a possible target as well. So that's my next target. In fact, this is the area I like the most, 50.65. Reason I like it is because potentially we're putting in a bit of a inverse head and shoulders pattern, and that could act as the neckline, and then we can watch it there. So for that reason, if we are seeing a bit of a head and shoulders pattern, and we haven't quite got the right shoulder, yet, we can look for a reject at the pre-market high as well. So I've got two levels for this area. It's a break and retest long, 50.65, or a reject or a rejection, shall I say. Got the 20 moving average just above as well, which could act as extra resistance as well. And we've got a very small volume shelf in the profile. So, and obviously we've had a few touches of this area as well. So there's an area of confluence as well, where tops and bottoms are touching the same area. So which is why we could see it as a reject. We came in there perfectly in the pre-market, rejected, and there's no reason why we can't do it again. So it's kind of what I'm waiting for, is kind of this setup. And if we have the head and shoulders pattern form, we can look at that level again for the break and retest long. So that's it really. If we get up, if we do rally or rip up, then at 50.80, I like a rejection around this area, coming off of this. It's a sideways moving average at 200. There's not much volume in this area, but we do have a volume shelf above, and that's at 5100, and that's a psychological number as well, so that's another level to watch. Bounces, talked about that. If we can get down to 50.10, we can watch that area for a bounce, but we can't ignore this pivot, because last time we came down there, 50.20, we ripped up, so that is an area to keep an eye on. Let's just add another level. I'll Again, I'm looking for multiple touches. The reason I've not marked it because I can't find any real levels of confluence. 50, 20. Let's just go back and see how it responded earlier. Okay, so we have 50, 21. Okay, I'm going to mark it 50, 20. Got tops of candles, bottoms of candles. Pivot as well. So we had that big reaction last time. We had another big reaction. It would be a third time, so whether we get the same big reaction a third time, we don't know. But we can watch that area. So I got 50, 21, 75. Oh, look at that. That's based on previous pivot, and it's exactly on that pivot there. So that level was a good level from before as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's it really. FOMC, don't forget at 2:30, and be interested to see how the market responds to that. Moving on to SPY. You can see quite clearly we've got this trend line, which is pretty much there. We rejected it, and we bounced it, should I say? We bounced off of it. And again, I quite like the break and retest. I would say pre-market high, but we have got yesterday's closed, or yesterday's low just above, which can act as some sort of resistance. But we can watch for 501.48 to 502 for a break and retest long. Bounce wise, probably this area down here, 497. See, I prefer this area than I did on ES because you can actually, there is some confluence. Maybe not on the pivot, it's a little bit, but just a bit above it. And what I'm looking at is, you can see, hang on, this iron about there. And that level is 498, 70 or 499, that area. And what I'm looking for is kind of 498 to 499 for a bounce. Let's go down to the lower one. So I'm more looking at a couple of touches of the open and close of candles, bottoms of pivots, tops of pivots. There's some tops and bottoms here. And let's go back and look left, 498. And obviously it's not far from 500, so it's a psychological number as well. And okay, well, it hasn't really, we kind of broke through it. It's not as strong as I thought it would be. But yeah, that's the area to watch. 500 to 498 for a bounce. In fact, we're at 500, no, 498, sorry, to 497.60. And if we do get down to this area, we can watch. We've got this area of demand, and that's at 496. Let's just mark that in as well. All the way down to 494. Rejection wise, potentially I like this area here, 503.37 to 504. It's the downward trailing 200 moving average into the 20 moving average, and it's a big area of confluence, and our volume starts building up from that point as well. So we've got the volume, we've got the point of control up at 505, but yeah, I quite like 503.30, 503.50 for a rejection. NQ next. We can probably draw this hourly or daily trend line in. How far out? Okay, so it's that one. So we kind of came into it, rejected it, broke through, and retesting it. So still quite like this inverse end shoulders possible forming, and the break and retest of the pre-market high at 17,531. So we've got to get over, we've got this area of confluence as well, so if we break above, come back and retest, hopefully that should hold. Rejection wise, we've had a lot of reactions around this 17,700 area, so we can watch this area for rejection coming into the 50 moving average. And then bounce wise, see, I quite like NQ bounce at that pivot, 17,300 and 17,314, and you've got bottom of that pivot, bottom of this little buy setup, tops of these. So there's a good area of confluence there, but notice the volume's waning down at these levels. Okay, that's it for NQ. Q is probably, QQQs is probably very similar. Okay, I've already got a level there from a few days ago, so we can still watch that area. 418.30 for a bounce, maybe down to 417.50, that area, and then break and retest over pre-market high into yesterday's low. We got a target of this area confluence, which is 428, and that's a rejection area as well. So 428.36 rejection. SPX. Okay, so we're getting down to this 5,000 area, could come in play today. Big reaction last time it was there, kind of broke down through it, pulled back out, and then bounced. So it's proven that it can hold. So we'll see what happens to get back down to that area. I'm going to put a alert in at 507, so I know it's getting down there. If we get down to 5,000, I'll be looking to go long on ES or SPY, most likely ES, and 5,000 is going to probably be around this pivot 550-20 area. So we'll see where we are. If my levels are lined up with the SPX and it looks like a long, if it's below that level and I need to go long into that level, then I probably won't take it, because I don't want to go long into resistance. I'd rather SPX be at support as well as ES at support as well, rather than just below support. And also when I take my trades, I'll be using my confirmation. I've got my trading plan, a little time on a post-it note for my reversals, which I'm trying to stick to, or I have stuck to quite well. I made it really simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically looking for break a trend, looking for levels, looking for absorption on order flow. Let's flick over to the order flow for a second. So I'll be looking for absorption on the order flow around this area here. I'm looking for cumulative delta divergence. So if price is increasing but delta is decreasing, then we look like we're getting aggressive selling coming in. That can predict a bit of a reversal if we're looking for a short, or the opposite way around. Reversal pattern. So like I was just talking about, that inverse head and shoulders pattern potentially forming, especially if it's on a higher time frame and on a lower time frame. And then single digit orders. So I'm looking for, this is, even though there's single digit orders there, you know, low digits there up here, but it's not at a level I'm watching. It's got to be at a 60-minute level, and that means there's no interest from the buyers or sellers. So my plan's in place, and today's even more important to stick to it, because FOMC later, and the market's going to be, market price action may not be as great as it normally is. Although yesterday I thought it was set up for a sideways day, and we saw that big push down. So decent day yesterday. In fact, I had a really good day yesterday. Probably one of my better days this year. Gold. In fact, I took 2 trades yesterday. I'll just quickly recap them. I've not been doing recaps. I took 2 trades yesterday, and one was a losing trade, and one was a winning trade. So my losing trade was just after the open. It was a, what was it? This short up here, I think it was, down, but it stopped me out. And then my next trade was, in fact, it was this one here, right at the open. So I went short, and it came back and stopped me out, and then I waited. I can't quite remember where it was. I think it was, might have been 10 o'clock, round here anyway. I think it was that one there actually, 10 o'clock, 10:10. And then my next entry was, I was watching the 2 minute, and I saw a bit of a reversal setting up, and it was a lower high, and I just put my orders in and left it, came back, and it tagged me out of 5R. Bit annoyed, because as I sat down, it was just hitting my 5R target, and I tried cancelling it because I wanted to trail it down, and look at where it ended up. So it would have been like a 20-30R day. Yeah, but anyway, I'm not sure if I would have held through these pullbacks as long. But it doesn't matter. I'm pleased how it was, but I don't think I'll ever be quite happy. Anyway, back to gold next. Okay, we talked about this bear flag setting up, and it's kind of came into play. It broke through. Look at that, exactly as we talked about. I thought I did draw trend lines on. Well, I know I did. So it broke through. It wasn't really a good entry on it, unless you caught it at the top, because it just, oh, let's just add it in. Oh, God. It's not letting me clone. I was using. If you press Control, it lets you clone. There you go. That's what I was trying to achieve. And drag. I was holding down the Shift button. Okay, so we can watch this for a break and retest back up into that area. 23.40. Coming into this point of control as well. High volume. You can see it's kind of nailing the area confluence as well. This point of control. So it's very obvious. You've got high volume here coming in. This orange line shows you the point of control, and you look, we've got pivot, 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 top pivot, pivot, lots of them. I think that's the point taken. Okay, maybe not so much in here. So it's a big area. You don't need this volume profile to know where the volume is by just looking at areas of confluence. So if we come back up into this area, I've got my alert already set up for 20. Just below 23.40, it might be worth looking for a break and retest. And then the bounce area, I said yesterday, watch 22.86, and look where we are. Kind of almost got into that. It didn't quite hit my alert. I wasn't really paying attention to gold, but if you were paying attention, hopefully you got that level and you got that long. And it might have been in the, when was it? It's late yesterday anyway, so I wouldn't have been watching it at that time of night. But there you go. Area confluence again, bottoms of candles, and kind of come back into that area. So that's the only. We could watch a rejection. We've got this little area of resistance setting up, not as major as this area. So we can watch 23, 22, 74 rejection. That's a level we had in from yesterday as well for a. I can't remember what we said, but it might have been a rejection yesterday based on this area confluence. You can see it's tops of candles and bottoms of candles as well. Next up is crude oil. This is the crude oil futures. You can see it broken that trend line. It came back. That's what we want to see gold do. Come back and retest like it has here. What was that, gold hourly? Yeah. So crude oil came back, tested it. Look at that for a retest, pretty much there. And then rejected. So that's hopefully someone took that trade as well. That would have been a decent trade. And that's the reason I draw in these trend lines, just so we can watch these break and retests. Broke through this level we was watching, and we kind of pulled back and retested it. Zoom out and see what other levels we've got. I quite like this area, and like I said, it's an area, not a level, because you know it's not quite touching all of the areas. So probably 80 down to 79, 85, that area for a bounce. That's our next bounce area. Let's get rid of that. And that's it. Watch for bounce, and then maybe if we can get over pre-market high, break and retest, because that'll be breaking this downtrend. So we've got this tight downtrend. If we can break it, pull back long, you can watch that area, and that'll probably be around the 81. Yeah, look at 81.20 area. Higher risk is against the hourly trend, and it's against the daily trend as well, which is in a bit of a downtrend. Let's go into daily. You can see it's 4 minutes downtrend. You could say it's in a downtrend. Hasn't quite put in the second pivot yet, but we're not far off it. Okay, so that's oil. In fact, one of the levels I had yesterday, I mentioned it, was 80, 90 or 81, and it was a bounce area. And look at that big reaction to that level, 80. 81 all the way up to 82.50 almost. So just shows that keep an eye on these and holding these levels, you know, holding the lines from previous months or weeks. It's quite important. And we had that level in place, and that was a great. I didn't take the trade, but I know somebody did take it in the room, and hopefully did okay out of it. That's spot on that area. Next up is RTY. And that just shows how important using levels are, because they often come back into those areas, bounce and reject. Okay, so we've broken this downtrend, this hourly downtrend. So I quite like the break and retest of the, I'm going to say pre-market high. This is a bit above yesterday's high, yesterday's low. So break and retest over this area, which is 1988. 19, yeah, I'm going to say 19, let's get a proper level, 1987, 1988, that area for a bounce. You can target this area confluence just from yesterday, so that'll be 1994.50, and then we've got this level up here, 2000 psychological number, and it's an area confluence as well. Tops of candles, bottoms of candles, kind of a pivot there, a few pivots there, tops of candles over here, so that's a big area. And then coming up into this area, 2016, big volume area, you see that profile come out there, and we've got the point of control coming out, kind of showing the top of this range we're in. So we are ranging at the moment, we're kind of putting in this range. So we get back up into this area, we can probably look for a bit of a short. That's it really for RTY. Next is YM, which is the Dow Jones. Look at that. Again, potentially putting in this inverse head and shoulders pattern, left shoulder, head, and here we're not sure whether it's going to come back. So pre-market high, we can watch for rejection, or we can watch for the break and retest. So 38. I'm going to say 38,022 to 38. That area, it's always an area. Watch for a rejection or break and retest, and only watching for the rejection because it could be an inverse head and shoulders forming. So go into it with no bias. Yeah, but if we go long, it's got to break the 20 moving average, come back and retest that area for the long. And then Bitcoin. Hey, look at that. I said about this yesterday as well. I've been saying this for quite some time. These red lines are where I sold my Bitcoin. I think it was on those dates there. And that's purely because I was watching the volume coming in, and everyone was talking about it, the halving event and everything. So when everyone's talking about it, I want to look to get out, and I'm glad I have. It's starting to break down now, so I'm watching this 50,000 area for a bounce. And I said I didn't know why this area was there a few days ago. I think there was a reason I left it there. It probably goes back to, there's a few pivots, but we're kind of breaking through that area now anyway. So I still like 50,000. That's the area. 50 and 40. They're the two areas I'm watching for. Oh, let's clear that. And I think that's it. We can look for the retest of 60,000 for the short. And sorry, one thing I did say about yesterday was watching it in this range, and I said we kind of couldn't get to the top end of this range. It kind of stopped about halfway, excuse me, and broke down. That's usually a sign of weakness, and that's what I look out for in my reversals as well. And it's kind of done exactly what I said it was going to do, which is good. Right, let's go back to ES again, see if anything's changed in the last few minutes. We just pushed up a bit, so still on this pre-market high, yesterday's low area. We can watch that area for rejection and to hopefully form the right shoulder or break and retest. That's my main area I'm watching. So 50, 65, and I'm putting in an alert, so when we get close to it, it draw my attention to it. And I think that's it. Okay, so next up is my order flow screen. That will be live shortly. Looks a bit like that, and I'll just do that. So stay tuned in, and that will be the next stream. Okay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. That helps a lot, and subscribe as well, so you get notified when the live videos come back up. Okay, thanks for watching.